If you are always trying to be normal, you will never know how amazing you can be. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style. You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. Please remember that your difficulties do not define you. They simply strengthen your ability to overcome. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. People know themselves much better than you do. That's why it's important to stop expecting them to be something other than who they are. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. People know themselves much better than you do. That's why it's important to stop expecting them to be something other than who they are. During bad circumstances, which is the human inheritance, you must decide not to be reduced. You have your humanity, and you must not allow anything to reduce that. We are obliged to know we are global citizens. Disasters remind us we are world citizens, whether we like it or not. Each one of us has lived through some devastation, some loneliness, some weather superstorm or spiritual superstorm. When we look at each other, we must say, I understand. I understand how you feel because I have been there myself. We must support each other and empathize with each other because each of us is more alike than we are unalike. My wish for you is that you continue to be who and how you are, to astonish a mean world with your acts of kindness. My wish for you is that you continue to be who and how you are, to astonish a mean world with your acts of kindness. At the end of the day, people won't remember what you said or did, they will remember how you made them feel. You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. Try to be a rainbow in someone else's cloud. Do not complain. Make every effort to change things you do not like. If you cannot make a change, change the way you have been thinking. You might find a new solution. Just do right. Right may not be expedient, it may not be profitable, but it will satisfy your soul. It brings you the kind of protection that bodyguards can't give you. So try to live your life in a way that you will not regret years of useless virtue and inertia and timidity. Take up the battle. Take it up. It's yours. This is your life. This is your world. We cannot change the past, but we can change our attitude toward it. Uproot guilt and plant forgiveness. Tear out arrogance and seed humility. Exchange love for hate, thereby making the present comfortable and the future promising. If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. Hate, it has caused a lot of problems in the world, but has not solved one yet. A leader sees greatness in other people. He nor she can be much of a leader if all she sees is herself. I think a hero is any person really intent on making this a better place for all people. I would like to be known as an intelligent woman, a courageous woman, a loving woman, a woman who teaches by being. You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeats so you can know who you are, what you can rise from, how you can still come out of it. A woman in harmony with her spirit is like a river flowing. She goes where she will without pretense and arrives at her destination prepared to be herself and only herself. You don't need another person, place or thing to make you whole. God already did that. Your job is to know it. When you know you are of worth, you don't have to raise your voice, you don't have to become rude, you don't have to become vulgar, you just are. And you are like the sky is, as the air is, the same way water is wet. It doesn't have to protest. Love life. Engage in it. Give it all you've got. Love it with a passion because life truly does give back, many times over, what you put into it. When you do nothing, you feel overwhelmed and powerless. But when you get involved, you feel the sense of hope and accomplishment that comes from knowing you are working to make things better. Every day I awaken, I am grateful. My intent is to be totally present in that day. And laugh as much as possible. Hope for the best, be prepared for the worst. Life is shocking, but you must never appear to be shocked. For no matter how bad it is, it could be worse, and no matter how good it is, it could be better. You should be angry. You must not be bitter. Bitterness is like cancer. It eats upon the host. It doesn't do anything to the object of its displeasure. So use that anger. You write it. You paint it. You dance it. You march it. You vote it. You do everything about it. You talk it. Never stop talking it. What I try to do is write. I may write for 2 weeks the cat sat on the mat, that is that, not a rat. And it might be just the most boring and awful stuff. But I try. When I'm writing, I write. And then it's as if the muse is convinced that I'm serious and says, okay, I'll come. I've learned that making a living is not the same thing as making a life. If you have only one smile in you, give it to the people you love. Don't be surly at home, then go out in the street and start grinning good morning at total strangers. People don't always remember what you say or even what you do, but they always remember how you make them feel. Let gratitude be the pillow upon which you kneel to say your nightly prayer. And let faith be the bridge you build to overcome evil and welcome good. The area where we are the greatest is the area in which we inspire, encourage, and connect with another human being. Having courage does not mean that we are unafraid. Having courage and showing courage mean we face our fears. We are able to say, I have fallen, but I will get up. Prejudice is a burden that confuses the past, threatens the future, and renders the present inaccessible. My mother had said me, all right, you've been raised, so don't let anybody else raise you. You know the difference between right and wrong. Do right. And remember, you can always come home. And she continued to liberate me until she died. On the night she died, I went to the hospital. I told my mom, let me tell you about yourself. You deserved a great daughter, and you got one. And you liberated me to be one. So if it's time for you to go, you may have done everything God brought you here to do. I think when we don't know what to do, it's wise to do nothing. Sit down quietly, quiet our hearts and minds, and breathe deeply. A wise woman wishes to be no one's enemy. A wise woman refuses to be anyone's victim. Each of us, famous or infamous, is a role model for somebody, and if we aren't, we should behave as though we are, cheerful, kind, loving, courteous. Because you can be sure someone is watching and taking deliberate and diligent notes. Light and shadow are opposite sides of the same coin. We can illuminate our paths or darken our way. It is a matter of choice. Laugh and dare to try to love somebody, starting with yourself. You must love yourself first, of course, and you must protect yourself so that nobody overrides you, overrules you, or steps on you. Just say, just a minute. I'm worth everything, dear. Life is pure adventure, and the sooner we realize that, the quicker we will be able to treat life as art. You can only become truly accomplished at something you love. Don't make money your goal. Instead, pursue the things you love doing and then do them so well that people can't take their eyes off of you. Laugh as often as possible. You must. Because the world will offer you every reason to weep. So as often as possible, you laugh. That, I think, is part of the great love. When we decide to be happy, we accept the responsibility to bring happiness to someone else. Some decide that happiness and glee are the same thing. They are not. When we choose happiness, we accept the responsibility to lighten the load of someone else and to be a light on the path to another who may be walking in darkness. I love living. I love that I'm alive to love my age. There are many people who went to bed just as I did yesterday evening and didn't wake this morning. I love and feel very blessed that I did. I love, too, that I know a little more today than I did yesterday, or I simply know it more profoundly. Stand up straight and realize who you are, that you tower over your circumstances. You are a child of God. Stand up straight. While I know myself as a creation of God, I am also obligated to realize and remember that everyone else and everything else are also God's creation. It is sad but true that sometimes we need the tragedy to help us to see how human we are and how we are more alike than we are different. Living well is an art that can be developed, a love of life and ability to take great pleasure from small offerings and assurance that the world owes you nothing and that every gift is exactly that, a gift. We must be warriors in the struggle against ignorance, have enough courage to trust love one more time and always one more time. I've learned that you shouldn't go through life with a catcher's mitt on both hands. You need to be able to throw something back. If I could give you one thought, it would be to lift someone up. Lift a stranger up, lift her up. I would ask you, mother and father, brother and sister, lovers, mother and daughter, father and son, lift someone. The very idea of lifting someone up will lift you, as well. When it looks like the sun isn't going to shine anymore, God puts a rainbow in the clouds. Each one of us has the possibility, the responsibility, the probability to be the rainbow in the clouds. I'm grateful for being here, for being able to think, for being able to see, for being able to taste, for appreciating love, for knowing that it exists in a world so rife with vulgarity, with brutality and violence, and yet love exists. I'm grateful to know that it exists. Without defeats, how do you really know who the hell you are? If you never had to stand up to something to get up, to be knocked down, and to get up again, life can walk over you wearing football cleats. But each time you do get up, you're bigger, taller, finer, more beautiful, more kind, more understanding, more loving. Each time you get up, you're more inclusive. More people can stand under your umbrella. It is only out of ignorance that people are cruel, because they really don't think it will come back. I note the obvious differences between each sort and type, but we are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. Stormy or sunny days, glorious or lonely nights, I maintain an attitude of gratitude. I've learned that whenever I decide something with an open heart, I usually make the right decision. I've learned that even when I have pains, I don't have to be one. I've learned that every day you should reach out and touch someone. People love a warm hug, or just a friendly pat on the back. I've learned that I still have a lot to learn. It is impossible to struggle for civil rights, equal rights for blacks, without including whites. Because equal rights, fair play, justice, are all like the air, we all have it, or none of us has it. That is the truth of it. The happy heart runs with the river, floats on the air, lifts to the music, soars with the eagle, hopes with the prayer. Because of the routines we follow, we often forget that life is an ongoing adventure. Life is pure adventure, and the sooner we realize that, the quicker we will be able to treat life as art, to bring all our energies to each encounter, to remain flexible enough to notice and admit when what we expected to happen did not happen. We need to remember that we are created creative and can invent new scenarios as frequently as they are needed. Pretty women wonder where my secret lies. I'm not cute or built to suit a fashion model's size, but when I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies. I say, it's in the reach of my arms, the span of my hips, the stride of my step, the curl of my lips. I'm a woman phenomenally. Phenomenal woman, that's me. Each of us has that right, that possibility, to invent ourselves daily. If a person does not invent herself, she will be invented. So, to be bodacious enough to invent ourselves is wise. There's a place in you that you must keep inviolate. You must keep it pristine, clean, so that nobody has a right to curse you or treat you badly. Nobody. No mother, father, no wife, no husband, no nobody. You have to have a place where you say, stop it. Back up. Don't you know I'm a child of God? I'm not sure if resilience is ever achieved alone. Experience allows us to learn from example. But if we have someone who loves us, I don't mean who indulges us, but who loves us enough to be on our side, then it's easier to grow resilience, to grow belief in self, to grow self-esteem. And it's self-esteem that allows a person to stand up. In all the world, there is no heart for me like yours. In all the world, there is no love for you like mine. And when great souls die, after a period peace blooms, slowly and always irregularly. Spaces fill with a kind of soothing electric vibration. Our senses, restored, never to be the same, whisper to us. They existed. They existed. We can be and be better. For they existed. There is a world of difference between facts and the truth. You can have so many facts that you don't deal with the truth. You never get to the truth. You have the places where, the people who, the times when, the reasons why, the methods how, blah blah, and never get to the human truth. The human truth is as elusive as the air, and as important as the air. Don't let the incidents which take place in life bring you low. And certainly don't whine. You can be brought low, that's okay, but don't be reduced by them. Just say, that's life. I do not trust people who don't love themselves and yet tell me, I love you. There is an African saying which is, be careful when a naked person offers you a shirt. I don't know if I continue, even today, always liking myself. But what I learned to do many years ago was to forgive myself. It is very important for every human being to forgive herself or himself, because if you live, you will make mistakes, it is inevitable. But once you do and you see the mistake, then you forgive yourself and say, well, if I'd known better I'd have done better, that's all. The most important thing I can tell you about aging is this: if you really feel that you want to have an off-the-shoulder blouse and some big beads and thong sandals and a dirndl skirt and a magnolia in your hair, do it. Even if you're wrinkled. Let us live so we do not regret years of inertia and ignorance, so when we die we can say all of our energy was dedicated to the noble liberation of the human mind and spirit, beginning with my own. God puts rainbows in the clouds so that each of us, in the dreariest and most dreaded moments, can see a possibility of hope. I dreamt we walked together along the shore. We made satisfying small talk and laughed. This morning I found sand in my shoe and a seashell in my pocket. Was I only dreaming? In order to be a mentor, and an effective one must care. You must care. You don't have to know how many square miles are in Idaho. You don't need to know what is the chemical makeup of chemistry, or of blood or water. Know what you know and care about the person. Care about what you know and care about the person you're sharing with. In the 16th century, Machiavelli, in an attempt to get back in the good graces of the powerful, wrote a slim volume called The Prince. In that book he showed the powers that be how to control the people. That book is a statement: separate and rule, divide and conquer. That's 500 years ago, and it still works, because we allow ourselves to be led around with holes through our noses.